What is up, everybody? If lighting is ass, I'm sorry. Um, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about Zootopia 2. And I didn't actually realize until I sat down in the theater that Zootopia 1 is almost a decade old. That's kind of crazy. It does not feel like it's actually been that long, but I don't remember if I watched the first one in theater, so maybe that's why, maybe because I watched it recently. But figured they would greenlight this one, been waiting for the new one because unfortunately there's a fan base. We won't talk about that, but for the people out here, they're just like, oh, this is a good movie, let's watch it. I've been waiting for a new one. So once again, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are back together. They are partners, they're hilarious, and they are still doing their thing. Except this time around, the movie actually does something I really didn't expect. It does not pretend that Judy and Nick have been this unstoppable crime-solving duo for a decade. It actually takes place, like a week, couple weeks, months, whatever, after the first one. And so they're kind of one-hit wonders, and I actually really love that because, most cop movies or most action movies, in general, usually whenever you have that one big case, there's kind of badasses, right? Especially whenever it's like a one-film franchise, something like that. You just kind of expect that they went on to do good things. And so this right away kind of made it feel very fresh as far as a plot goes, because the case this time around goes in a totally different direction. There is another conspiracy, so it's very samey in that front. But there is a new reptile, a snake named Gary, who shows up in Zootopia. And apparently there are no reptiles in Zootopia, which I never really thought about. I guess there aren't any in the first one that I can think of, but I haven't watched it in a while. So if there are, don't shoot me. But yeah, so they kind of point that out. There's like a whole new section they start adding in this one. And this opens up a whole new cast of characters and a whole new conspiracy for Judy and Nick to unravel. And I really did love that. I love when sequels do expand things without invalidating the first film necessarily. And so this does kind of build up on the first film, with some of the troubles that Zootopia has. How it's not really this paradise that's going on, and happening. And it's a lot of stuff in the surface, right? And so Gary the Snake is played by Ke Huy Quan, who I think I pronounced his name right. He's very perfect in everything he plays in. I love this man through career Renaissance run, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Even that movie he played in this February, I can't think of what it's called, Love Hurts. I actually liked him in that. He's very funny, charming, and so he did great in this film. He makes you really love Gary the Snake. Even whenever you don't want to love him, like when he makes mistakes or does something stupid, you still love him. The big surprise to me is Andy Samberg. I completely didn't recognize his name. Like I recognize, or not his name, his voice. I recognized the voice. Just couldn't put that was Andy Samberg. And I was like, dude, I know this guy. Couldn't think of his name to save my life. And then when I got out of the theater, I checked. I was like, oh, that's right. But yeah, he's good in this movie. Also, his character is one of my favorite characters in this film. I don't necessarily love his arc. I don't want to spoil what happens, but it feels just kind of like cool. Now, Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman as Judy and Nick, get back to the main characters. Their chemistry is very good in this one. There is a scene towards the end, it's like the middle end of the film, that is very, very, very good, going into their chemistry, because if it feels, while they feel closer than the first one, they also have some problems still going on, clearly. But they definitely have matured in a lot of ways, because that's my thing about sequels. They're not doing the same thing like usual, like where it's like, oh man, they're not getting along, it's time to hate each other. They really are getting along. Like, yeah, they're like, joking around, this, that, whatever, like hitting each other, or like he'll make a joke about her ears, for example, like when they go to this dance. But for the most part, they're, you can tell the animators really put in a lot of work here. The storyboard people really put in a lot of work here. And this movie just feels textured. It feels like a world made by animators, made by actual humans. Which I know this movie, especially behind the scenes, very anti-AI. And that was good to see too, because, a lot of how this movie feels, it feels like an actual sequel. Now, what you come here for is the case, the conspiracy, the mystery. And I feel like it's very well done. While at first it feels kind of samey because you're like, oh, another big conspiracy, I think the Gary the Snake angle really hits. There's some emotional beats that it really hits. There's some fun twists and turns. There's a couple twists I didn't really care for, which I don't want to get into that because there's some spoilers. And I feel like my one negative is that big twist. It just feels kind of unearned. It just happens. And it doesn't make sense behind, whatever, but I'm not going to spoil it. But I just think that outside of that, I think this is a really good movie. And there's also a lot of really good Easter eggs. There's a ton of them. Towards the end, there was one I noticed from a really big movie that I really love. I feel like I was the only one that got that joke too. I was laughing. There is, which one I'm going to lightly spoil. There's like a Ratatouille Easter egg. You'll get it when you see it. I laughed my ass off. Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar movie, so I really appreciate that one out there. I see y'all out there. And so, yeah, I'm like, I love this movie for what it is. It does exactly what you want it to do. It hits exactly what you want it to. It hits everything. And it's almost like a checklist. They're just kind of going about it. Okay, you want that banter, you want this and that, you want whatever. I'll give this movie a 9 out of 10. It is solid. It's a damn good movie. Like, subscribe for more. Catch you guys on the next one.
Your worst idea is what you did with your ears.